would be our profit. Now, if we take this profit and divide it by what we started with or could have started with, 618, it's going to give us a number that tells us what our rate of return is. Keep in mind, for 5 years, very passionately, from 1994 to 1999, I promoted, taught mutual funds with my best fund averaging 18.4% for the previous 10 years. Your money would have doubled roughly every 4 years if you were earning 18% a year on your money. Let's look at this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see this number with decimals. You've got to move your decimal 2 points to the right, and this lets you know what your rate of return would have been over a year, 742%. In other words, your money, if you had $100 in Bitcoin, $1,000 in Bitcoin, $10,000 in Bitcoin, and all you had done was just sit on it and let it ride. Today is down. It's not going to be up every day. Today, Bitcoin is down 6%. Last week or week before, we had a day when it was up some 15 or 16% for the day. We were on a webinar. It'll be 2 weeks on this coming Thursday. 400 on the webinar. And while we were on the webinar, it shot up to 5,900, just under 6,000 while we were on the webinar. Not going to be up every day. It's going to have its down days. But over the last year, if all you had done was buy Bitcoin, you'd be up 742%, or your money would have grown 7 times. So here's what we did. I'm going to prove to you this is the best way for you to become a digi-millionaire. A week ago or so, we did that same calculation you just saw me do. We did that across 20 different digital assets. We looked at what the price was October 16th of 2016, and what was the price when we did this spreadsheet on the 17th of October, just last week. We update this every month. At that time, on October 16th, Bitcoin was going for 640. Last week, this time, it was slightly higher at 56.33. Here would have been the profit potential. Bitcoin year over year was up 780%. So $1,000 invested in Bitcoin would have yielded in profit $7,797.40. What would your $1,000 have grown to if it was sitting in the bank? If it was sitting in a stock? If it was sitting in a good mutual fund? But it's not just Bitcoin. Look at Ethereum. Ethereum was going for under $12. When we did this last week, it was going for $320. 2,581%. $1,000 would have profited $25,810. This space allows us to compress time frames. So many of us are behind on retirement, behind on college education for our kids, behind on promises we made to our spouses, to our family, what we plan to do, behind on what we wanted to give charitably, behind on leaving a legacy for our children and our children's children. This niche, beyond any niche I've ever seen, allows us to compress time frames. $1,000 profiting 25 grand. Look at Ripple. Most people, I had never heard of Ripple prior to when I really started delving into this niche in March or April of this year. Never heard of Ripple. But your $1,000 would have been $28,700. Dash, one of my favorite assets, would have been $26,140. NEM, I told you one of my favorite assets, $1,000 in a year's time would have made $53,170. And so now, when you get down to Americoin, that was up 65%. This almost is disappointing. Never before would I have been disappointed at a 65% return for the year until I get to this space. So we looked at 20 assets, and out of those 20 assets, only one of them was down for the year. Yeah, if all you had done was put some money in something called Peer Plays at 1279, when we did this chart last week, it was going for 426. You'd be down. But if you had the wherewithal to put $1,000 in those 20 assets, one would have been down. One, you made 65%. And in this space, that's a yawner. Your $1,000 times the 20 assets, $20,000, would have mushroomed in profits to $293,000 in profits. $293,000. You might say, I don't have $20,000. $1,000 times those 20 assets. If you had 100 times those 20 assets, $2,000. Take off this last number here, it would have been worth over $29,000 in profits. I wanted to prove to you that the best way for you to become a digi millionaire is for you to build a coin portfolio that you own and you control. And that's what we teach you to do on our Thursday night webinars. We will go through, we will comb through assets, and we will say, hey, here's one. Here's what this asset is all about. This is why we believe this asset is going to be here for the long run. It solves this particular problem in the marketplace. And this is where we want to get this asset. If we can buy it up to this particular price, we don't want to pay more than $5, or we don't want to pay more than 25 cents, or we don't want to pay more, depending on the asset. We don't want to pay more than $100. And sometimes we'll be able to get that asset really on sale. And sometimes that asset from the time we buy it will go down, allowing us to build that position and buy some more at a lower price, looking for it to ultimately go to the moon. Okay. Now, so by now you should see we're not just fluff. Okay. This is no shim flim flam. We're real. Okay. We've been in this investing way since '94, trading actively in some type of market, stock market, forex market, now in the digi space since 1999. We haven't been in the digi space since '99. We've traded actively. And when we talk about our trading in this space, we're not talking about looking at charts. We're not being glued to our screen all day. You'll be able to take a test drive with us tonight, and you'll be able to come on our webinar on Thursday, and you can see exactly how we do things. Okay. Now, so a few months ago, we are scouring what we call the big board. And we would go and we would look at various assets. We would look and see, hey, if we had known, if we had invested in it a year ago, what would it have been worth? Would we have made money? And then we would do some more analysis to see what that asset was all about, to start to add certain assets to our coin portfolio. Well, back in May of this year, there was an asset. It was ranging on the big board somewhere between 18 and 21 in terms of being one of the larger of these DG assets. We had never heard anything about it, but we hadn't heard about a lot of these. We were just, kind of new to immersing ourselves in the space. And so we did with this asset. This asset is called BitConnect. We did with this asset what I just showed you. All right, let's take the prevailing price. For instance, $193.06. Okay, and then now, of course, it wasn't $193.06 at that time. It was in the 40s. So we've already seen this asset go from about $40 or so for the asset to now it got as high as 218 the other day. Okay, and what we notice is that when Bitcoin is up, this asset tends to be up, but it tends to outperform Bitcoin. When Bitcoin is down, this asset oftentimes is down, but it normally isn't down as much as Bitcoin is. Okay. All right. So we come here and we look at the historical data, and we want to see when this asset was listed on CoinMarketCap, how much could we have purchased it for? Because I like to play the what if game. What if we had known? What if we had just parked $100 or $1,000 into this asset? So this asset was listed on the big board on January the 20th of this year at 16 cents. Oh my gosh. Let's do this math. It's going for 193.06. Subtract out the 16 cents, and we come up with a profit of $192.89 a coin. Now, if we take this profit and divide it by what it was going for, now, did I get it at 16 cents? Certainly not. I didn't see it until it was in the 40s. Okay. But I just want to show you the power of this space. All right. So when we do take the profit, divide it by what you could have bought it for, and we move our decimal 2 points to the right, this is telling us that we would have been up 118,000%. Okay, what the heck does that mean? That's a big number. It's a lot bigger than tying up your money for 39 months to get 1.2% a year. Okay, well, here's what you do. Essentially, what this means is that your money would have grown by 1,185 times. So had you had just $100 invested just in the coin from January 20th to now, we're talking what, 9 months? $100 would be worth $118,000 now. What about $1,000? $1,000 would be worth $1.18 million 9 months later. 9 months later. Now, we're going to talk about this BitConnect because it is our flagship AutoDigi profit system. But before we start there, I want to show you one other thing. So you're going to find out about BitConnect in a few moments and why you definitely want to add it to your income producing portfolio. Just recently, there was another asset that launched modeling after BitConnect. BitConnect has had such amazing growth that this system, we knew that there would be some copycat systems, and we wanted to see some copycat systems. Now, the big thing is just to determine which of these are legitimate. They're going to be here for the long haul, and not just, you know, stuff that's here for 2 or 3 months. We're not interested in even stuff that's here for 2 or 3 years. We're not interested in that either. Okay. There was a particular asset called Regal Coin, and we were fortunate enough to participate in what they call their ICO, initial coin offering. We got Regal Coin September the 15th. We paid 97 cents for the coin. Okay, 97 cents for the coin. And you see right now, Regal Coin is going for $40.28. Now, this isn't just a what if game. This is something that actually happened in our portfolio. We got it for 97 cents. We're up right now. We're still holding on to Regal Coin, $39.31 on a 97 cents investment. We're up 4,000. We're up 40 times our money, 4,052% since September the 15th. Now, in one of our recent trading labs, a few Thursdays ago, unfortunately, by the time we really understood what the heck was going on, our folks weren't able to get in on the ICO. We've given them a couple of other ICOs for them to pay attention to, and we'll look at those again on this coming Thursday, as well as introduce a new asset outside of the marketing space, likely. This coin had already taken off, and it was trading in the $11 range, about $11.50. And we said, hey, if we wanted to trade this, we like it at the $11.50 range. This coming Thursday, I think, will be 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the most that we said that to our audience. And so if someone didn't get in on the ICO, but they got in at $11.50, which is what our buy up to price was at the time, and now it's going for $40.28, still not a bad potential return of 250%. So in about 2, maybe 3 weeks time, I forget exactly how long it was. I know it was no more than 3 weeks. Had someone just followed what we were saying, hey, what we would do, we can't give you financial advice, their money would have been up 2.5 times. $100 would have been worth 250 in profit. $1,000 would have been worth 2,500 in profit. Okay. Now let's go back to BitConnect because I don't have a lot of time here. I'm a little bit past where I normally would be. And we want to talk about BitConnect in light of these nearer term targets. So our target is to get you to DigiMillionaire status and ultimately, hopefully, multi-millionaire status. And then, the time's going to come where we're going to start to diversify outside of the digi space into things like silver and gold and maybe agricultural real estate. I'm not one for buying apartments or renting houses or what have you, but I do have my eye on some agricultural land where I can go in. You could go in and purchase, be a part of a co-op, buy some agricultural real estate where they, especially in Chile, I'm looking at Chile, because they ship fruits and vegetables worldwide. They're big businesses, and you just buy a parcel of land and you get some of the profits. Nobody can ever take that. And hey, and if things go really crazy in your part of the world, move to Chile. You could always have something to eat. Or move to the Dominican Republic. And our plan ultimately is to buy some farming land in the Dominican Republic and put a few hundred cows on there. We know that we can buy a calf for about $200 US, and in about 8 months, fatten that calf up and sell it for about $800 US. And once again, if things get really bad in your part of the world and you've got a few hundred cows on your land, even if you don't eat beef, you never go hungry. Nobody is teaching this kind of stuff in marketing, because for us, this ain't about marketing. The reality is we don't have to market anymore. We have found our niche. We could say this is our last webinar and be just fine because of this niche. But we got some unfinished business because we got to get you there. So real quickly, guys, I'm past my time. We want to help you build a meaningful monthly cash flow, because becoming a DigiMillionaire is, in most cases, probably a 3 to 5 year time horizon. You want to see something well before then. So we want to get you to building a meaningful monthly cash flow in the next few weeks to few months. Then having a monthly coin portfolio budget. I want to see you have $200 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. That's just going for coin plays, whether they are initial coin offerings or whether you're getting some maybe just doing some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or some of the other assets that we'll talk about in our trading labs, but also having a monthly marketing budget. See, one of the ways that you're going to fast forward, accelerate your DigiMillionaire journey is when you're able to refer others to these auto digi platforms. Like I can't recruit anybody. When I go on Facebook, all my Facebook friends log off because they see me coming. I've tried 17 things in the last 16 weeks and none of them have worked. I've got no friends or family left. The thing is, you just haven't had the right tools and the resources, and you're going to have that when you follow our system. All right. So, got to hurry up. Gosh, I'm behind on my time. All right, so let me show you how you could get started with our system and then BitConnect, and within 24 hours, you could be earning daily interest. So here's how the BitConnect platform works. There's 4 ways you can make money. I'm just going to focus on one. This is the lending part. There are now, my wife and I counted at least a dozen other platforms that have come up in the past few weeks that are modeling after BitConnect. We're going to go with the flagship, but then there are going to be others of these that we will test that we will also use as lending platforms. So this is how this works. If you were to do a lend, you are becoming the bank. You are lending to BitConnect. Why? Because they're going to take what you lend to them and they're going to go to the marketplace and they're going to trade it. They might be trading their own coin. When it goes down, they buy some. When it goes up, they sell some. When it goes down, they buy some. When it goes up, they sell some. That's what I would do if I had one of these systems. I'd buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell my own coin. I'm starting to see how BitConnect works. I know right now, I'd love to buy some in the 190 range, ride her up to about 215. Buy 190, sell at 215. Come back down to 190, buy 190, sell at 215. Now she's going to hit another landmark. She's going to blow through 215 at some point, and then it might be buying her at 215, selling her at 230. If I figure that out, and I'm not the developer of BitConnect, maybe you think maybe they got it, maybe they got that part. They could be going and trading other coins. They could be doing ICOs. If all they had done was trade their own coin at 16 cents, and now it's up to $193. If they had 1 million of their own coins that they just sat on, that they just kept, and now it's going for $193 a coin, that means they'd be worth $193 million just in their own coin. My gosh. Now, and there will be no shortage of people saying BitConnect is a scam. Just like there's no shortage of people saying Bitcoin is a scam. Girl, if I were you, I wouldn't do anything in that Bitcoin. Yeah, just work for 40 years. Just try to make it on retirement or Social Security. $100 lend to $1,000 lend to the system, you're going to earn a variable rate of interest. That's going to be dependent on what's happening in the market. If you did a lend amount of $1,010, so don't do $1,000 lend amount, do $1,010, because what that gets you is that gets you some extra interest. So let's go back. So if you did a $100 lend, you would be tying up your capital for 299 days, not 39 months, every day, based on whatever the variable interest rate happens to be that day because of what's happening in the markets. You would get a variable interest rate return, okay? Every day, 7 days a week. There are times when that interest is little to nothing, but more often than not, it's averaged over the last 6 months, about 0.93% a day. If you did a $1,010 lend to 5,000, then your capital hold is only 239 days. You'd get an extra bonus interest each day of 0.1%. on top of whatever your variable interest rate was. Everybody in the system is going to get the same variable interest rate that day. If it's 1% that day, everybody gets 1%. Those who did a lend of $1,010 to 5,000 get an extra 0.1%. 5,010 to 10,000, your capital hold is about 6 months, as opposed to 8 months here, as opposed to 10 months here. That really doesn't matter though, because most of us, once our contract period is up, most of us are going to take that same amount and re-lend it because we like that daily interest. Okay. 0.2% is your bonus, and then the Grand Poobah 10,000, $10. 0.25% is your bonus, only about 4 months on your hold. So let me show you how this works real quickly. All right, so as you can see, these are showing the last 5 days credited interest. All right, they're about 2 days in arrears. They're not about, they're 2 days in arrears. And they're based on the volatility in the market. So if the market hasn't moved much, then we're not going to see a big payout that day. So if we go back on the 18th, which was my 25th wedding anniversary, the market barely moved. It was down, but it barely moved 0.59%. So guess what? 2 days later, on the 20th, we didn't get paid much because the market barely moved. A couple days later, however, the market moved 5% that day. And as a result, we got paid a better interest rate that day, 1.38%. Okay. Market didn't move much the last couple of days. We didn't get paid much the last couple of days. All right. Tomorrow, still a little bit under average. But if we were to go on this calculator and look at what the average has been over the last 6 months, the average has been 0.93% a day. So I want to go through all 4 lending tiers here. All right. So let's say you had $100 that you had put forth in a lend, and that's going to be a capital hold of 299 days. This calculator is not going to factor any compounding. Compounding would be that when you get your interest, that you actually decide to relend that inside of the contract period. Now, what happens here is your minimum initial lend is 100 US dollars. That's actually going to be denominated. You're going to send in at least 100 US dollars in Bitcoin. So you'll convert it from cash to Bitcoin, and then from Bitcoin to the BitConnect coin. We walk you through that process in our system. Very simple process. Okay. All right. So let's say $100 worth of Digi assets, 299 days. But once you're in the system, you're going to have something called a lending wallet. What happens is all of your daily interest, and if you happen to have any commissions from building a referral network, will go into your lending wallet, and you can either withdraw it out on a daily basis if you would like, or if it hits at least $10, you can relend that. We'll talk about compounding in just a few moments. Just know that what you're about to see has no compounding effect. It's just simply saying $100, let me just take out my interest on a daily basis or what have you. And so when we calculate your $100 over about a 10-month period, 299 days, would have made, if it continued to average 0.93%, which is the average the last 6 months, would have made $278 in pure profit. At the end of your 299 days, your $100 would be returned, and you could either relend that, or you could withdraw that, or a combination. Okay? No compounding. We'll come back in a few moments and see the difference when you compound. Let's say you did $1,010, and what you're going to notice right here in this section, you're going to notice bonus interest. At $1,010 lend, your capital is on hold for 239 days. We're going to calculate this. So $1,010 in about 8 months' time, with no compounding factored in, would profit roughly $2,500, just under $2,500. When you get your $1,010 back, then that means that your profit with your principal would be roughly $3,500, assuming the average daily interest rate stays at about 0.93%. This changes. We've seen it as high as 0.94%. We've seen it as low as 0.88%. There'll be stretches when the interest is really high for a while. There'll be stretches when it's low. But when it all settles out, that 0.93%. Okay, let's do $5,010. 179 days, about 6 months. Notice the bonus interest is going to change here. I'm going to calculate that. So in about 6 months, $5,010 profits makes 10 grand. And at the end of that 6 months, you get your $5,000 back. You want to relend it, you can. You want to withdraw it, you can, whatever. And then $10,010 for 120 days. We're coming up on the first contract that we did. I think on the 28th is when that first contract of ours is going to be up. Look at this. 10,000 here, generating $14,000 in profits in about 4 months. That's how powerful this is. We just got we got where someone, one of our folks that's in their golden years, one of our seniors, they didn't have $10,000 to get started with. They started at the $1,010 level. By the way, I should have said this. If you can't afford to lose it, you can't afford to invest it. Whether we're talking this platform, whether we're talking stocks, bonds, mutual funds, doesn't matter. Any type of investment, you only invest what you can afford to lose. If you can't afford to lose it, you can't afford to invest it. Okay, that's our mantra. So I just got word the other day that this particular person, they're, they hadn't even started really compounding. They were just using this as an income source. I mean, because right now they're averaging on $1,010 lend, they're averaging about $300 a month. And I said, you know what? I could use that $300 a month right now. You're not required to compound. If you want to start withdrawing out, you know, as soon as you start seeing results, you can. Now, what I am going to show you real quickly, and then we're going to be rounding third soon, is a spreadsheet that Queen did for us, because I want to show you the difference between what happens if you do compound. So let's go on and bring up $100 over a 299-day period without compounding. $100 would have made 278 bucks, and at the end of 10 months would be worth $378 once your principal is returned back to you. So we're going to compare compounding to this amount right here, 378. All right, so here is the spreadsheet. Okay, so very simple. Let's say we started off with $100. Let's say that our average interest rate was 0.9% a day, not 0.93 as we've shown. Okay. What happens in the system is whenever you have $10 in your lending wallet coming from any combination of your daily earnings and any commissions, if you happen to refer others, don't have time to talk about the referral side in any great detail tonight. We'll hit on it lightly, but don't have time to really cover it in any great detail. And we're going to really focus on just how the system works if you never did refer anyone, to give you some hope. So whenever you have $10, one of the things that our folks are doing is they are going in and they are relending, because once you see another 10 bucks, you can relend. Okay, so you can see here that after you relend, now you have $110 on deposit. And a few more days, you've got an accumulation of 10 bucks there, and you relend. And now you've got 120. So now what's starting to happen is you're starting to grow your active investment amount, your active lend amount. So let's just go down, for time's sake, to 299 days. 299 days, okay? And here we are. So if a person had compounded, if a person said, okay, I don't have a lot to start with, I'm only willing to commit 100 bucks, so that's all I'm willing to lose. And if you're not building a referral network, if you're starting off with a smaller amount, just plan on spending a little bit more time in the compounding phase for it to grow. Let it season a little bit. In this case, this was 10 months. At the end of that 10 months, look, you've got $1,370 as your active balance, as opposed to 378. And on an average day, you're now earning $12 on average a day. Multiply that out, you're at over $360 a month. Remember, I said one of our folks did a $1,010 lend. I don't know that they've referred anybody, but right now they were content to withdraw out whatever the interest happens to be. I don't know if they pull it out monthly or weekly or every day. I don't know how they do that. It's their account. They can pull it out every day if they like, but it's coming to over $300 a month for them. Let's look at $1,010. Now, if you have the excuse me, if you have the resources, it's not going to hurt your family, and you can afford to lose it. We like people to start at least at the 1,010 if they can, and the reason being is that on an average day, you're right at that, and then with some bonus interest, you're right at that $10 mark. So now you're able to compound almost on a daily basis. Okay. And so let's look at what we were looking at before with $1,010 at 239 days with no compounding. This was still mighty impressive. Okay. Making $2,486. All right. But let's see if we compound it. All right, so let's just go on and scroll all the way down until day 239 under column A. And here we are. So $1,010, 8 months instead of 10 months. At the end of 8 months, roughly, if you were compounding, all right, every day you're going in, if you've got at least $10 there, you're relending it, okay? Now your active balance is at $10,740. Let's assume that your contract came up and you decide to relend that $10. So you stayed at an active balance of $10,740. But you're earning $100 a day, over $100 a day. Multiply that out, you're at over $3,000 a month. Let's do 5,010. That would be 179 days. All right. Active balance at that point with your interest and your $5,000 coming back, 15,000 bucks. All right, let's see what happens if we compound it. 5,000, now we're talking about 6 months, 179 days. And there we go. Oh, that's huge. Look at this. Look at this. At this point, with an average daily earnings of $385, 385, 88, and remember, this is likely growing. Even if you start a withdrawal strategy, obviously we don't want to compound to the moon. At some point we want to start withdrawing, right? And we have a withdrawal strategy. You might do something different. Our withdrawal strategy is once we get to that point that we want to start to withdraw, we like to withdraw 50%. Allow 50% to continue to compound, to continue to grow. And then with the 50% we withdraw, we do some things with it, which we'll cover in just a moment. Look at this. Times 30 days, $11,000 a month. So what if you withdrew 50% of what you earn monthly? This is no recruiting at this point, no commissions at this point. $5,788, $5,010. If it didn't hurt your family, 6 months later, 6 months later, 6 months later, over $11,000 a month, you withdrew out half of that. And what we like to do, what we like to see, is you take half of whatever you withdraw out, and that goes to your family's monthly budget. In this case, $2,894. The other half that you have, you split that in half, with half going to your coin portfolio budget, half going to marketing, so that you can refer some others, so they are doing the same thing. You're starting to earn some commissions to accelerate your DigiMillionaire journey. So look at this. A $1,400 a month coin portfolio budget. That's just there to buy some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or some NIM or some of the other assets that we'll talk about, maybe some assets that you uncover, or to do an ICO play like we did on Regal Coin. You want to know where that came from? I did less than $1,000 with Regal Coin, but it's worth over $30,000 now. Where did the money come from? It came from having a coin portfolio budget. Well, I know every month a certain amount I'm going to have just to build my coin portfolio, because nobody can take that away. I'm going just a little bit over on my time. I do apologize. No, let me not apologize, because I want to get you to DigiMillionaire status. I will wrap up here very soon. Now let's do the 10,000, $10. 129 days. Our first one of these contracts is coming up in just a few days. Excuse me, 120 days. 120 days. All right. So keep this number right here in mind, $24,000. In other words, if we didn't compound, we just let all of our interest accrue. Then at the end of 4 months, our $10,010 is back into our lending wallet with any interest that has accrued, and maybe we've drawn it out at that point. Okay, so let's look here. Again, if you can't afford to lose it, you can't afford to invest it. Let's go 120 days. At 39,000 there, $448 a day. You get about $13,000 a month. What if a person said, hey, at the end, because this is exactly what I'm going to do at the end of my 10,000, $10. I'm sorry, at the end of my contract period, I like that daily interest. I'm putting it all back for at least another 120 days, right? So let's go to 240 days. This is not even factoring in any commissions. Look at 240 days, ladies and gentlemen. 8 months, 2 back-to-back contracts. $1,700 a month, I'm sorry, a day. Times 30, 53,000. Look, so what if a person said, okay, I want to get to that range, and that's 8 months, and I've got 10 grand, $10,000, $10. I'm cool with that. I don't want to lose it, but if I lost it, whatever. All right, and that's really where you need to be. Any investment amount, you need to be able to say, if I lose it, whatever. And if you can't say, man, if I lose it, whatever, then you don't invest that amount. That amount is too high for you. Even if you've got it, if you can't say, oh, whatever, that's just how it works, that's part of the game, then you don't do that amount, okay? Look at this. Look at this. If you're earning $53,000 a month and you took out half of that, $26,000, and you said of that, half of that is going to be, that's just going to my family. Man, I'm going to pay off some debt. I'm going to accelerate some debt, which is going to increase more cash flow. Let's get this mortgage paid off. Let's get these college loans paid off. But look at this. What if you then had half of that going to your coin portfolio budget? Well, you got a $6,600 a month coin portfolio budget. And you got a $6,600 a month marketing budget to drive traffic to the systems that we are developing for you to get this message out. You don't have to get the message out. I mean, you don't have to be the messenger, because we've got all that for you. Don't have time to cover that in great detail, okay? All right, so let's do this right here. Let's start to round third. Who has gotten your vision stretch tonight? If you've gotten your vision stretch in your questions box, put a VS. My vision is stretched. My vision is stretched. My gosh, I maybe have seen this presentation again and again, but my vision, every time I see it, my vision is getting stretched. My gosh. Good stuff. We're going to have an optional Q&A in just a few moments. All right. I do want to show just a couple of other things. I'll be very quick. Then we'll get into optional Q&A. Here's an account. We use this in our training. We use this in our marketing, which we will be unveiling our full marketing very shortly. And those of you who are leveraging our system will be able to take advantage of all that stuff. Here's an account. This person has done no recruiting. They have no referral commissions as a result because they've not done any recruiting. They've just been compounding. They did $1,010 back on July the 23rd. And at that time, the BitConnect coin was going for $64 a coin. Now the BitConnect coin is going for $193 in that very short period of time, okay? Their account as of right before we got on this webinar, their account is up to $2,410 because of the compounding effect. Now, if we were to go, for instance, and I'm not even going to factor in any bonus interest. This account that's at $2,410 as an active balance is earning roughly $672.40 a month. If I just added a zero to this, we'd add a zero here. I don't want to add the zero because that would throw in the bonus interest. And most of their relends, almost all their relends, are less than $1,010. So they're not getting the bonus interest on much of their relends just yet. Okay. So this particular account, with no recruiting, no sponsoring, no referral commissions, started off with $1,010 July the 23rd. We've just reached 3 months in that particular account. I say we, it's not my account. This is actually my youngest son's account. He's in school, he's in college, so he's focusing on being a college student. He's not, doing marketing or anything like that. He just goes in. Now he's at the point where essentially almost every day he's earning at least $10, and he's going in and he's doing his relend. In about another month, he's going to be at about $1,000 a month. And at that time, what he may do is withdraw half to start his coin portfolio, $500 a month. So just think that through. $1,010, no recruitment commissions, 4 months into it, $1,000 a month. Probably don't want to take it all out and spend it yet. Let it either grow, or maybe start your coin portfolio budget, or a combination of your coin portfolio, your marketing budget, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, let me show you another account. This is not my account, by the way. This particular account, I'm missing something. Oh, darn. I made a mistake and I deleted the slide. Darn. I was going to show you this particular account started on June the 28th with $1,150, no additional add-ons in terms of from their pocket. Everything has come from their interest. The difference is they've been building a referral network. So I want you to see the power of building that referral network. So they're up now to a $24,000 active investment. In another couple of weeks, they should be at the point where they're averaging about $8,000 a month. I know their game plan is to withdraw out 50%, $4,000 on average. So $8,000 a month, they're looking to withdraw out $4,000. And then they're going to institute the 3-step plan where half of the $4,000 that they withdraw, $2,000, is going to go for their family's budget. Then of the other $2,000 that's remaining, half coin portfolio budget, $1,000 a month, half marketing budget, $1,000 a month. They've been in the system since June 28 of this year. Difference between the two accounts, the tale of two accounts: one has been doing some referring, one has not. Now, as we start to round third, and then we'll get into some optional Q&A. We've got a system that we have been developing for the past few months. It's available now, all right, but we're about to launch our marketing with it here very soon, called CRB DigiMillionaires. The CRB there was an offer that we were promoting before we really got into the digi space. That was an advertising offer, and but we kind of branded the CRB, so we kept that. We're really focusing on getting you to DigiMillionaire status. We've got a 7-day test drive of our system for $1. And if you test drive our system before the end of October, your monthly subscription thereafter is only $30 a month. Inside of our system, you're going to have the capture pages, a full-blown video follow-up sequence, sales pages, things that you'll be able to share in the marketplace on Facebook and Twitter and all that good stuff. We do training, but we never mention our name, so nobody knows to come back to me. Notice, I still haven't mentioned my name. That's all by design, so that the only way you get started is to connect with the person that brought you to the dance, okay? In the system, you'll be able to share the BitConnect message 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But there are other auto digi profit systems that we will also have in the system. So it will allow you to, in one spot, develop multiple streams of income. And as we continue to move forward, Some of those other auto digi profit systems will have their own sales pages as well, so that you'll be able to share that in the marketplace. Also, as a part of being a member with us, you're going to be able to come to um, our trading labs on Thursday nights. If you can't make it, we record those. We give you a lot of detail of what we're looking to add to our portfolio, what price points, what our exit strategy is. Are we going to hold on to this longer term? Are we going to look to get a 10% return? And if so, where are we looking to sell it? So on and so forth. And when you come inside, you can even participate with our traffic co-op. We've hired a search traffic agency. A couple of weeks from now, they will begin doing the initial tests. Once they're comfortable that they've got things dialed in, we will turn the traffic on. So that way, if you know nothing about traffic generation, you don't even have to know anything about that, okay? So you get all of that. Now, if you're gonna do the traffic, you'll pay for the traffic, okay? But everything else is included in your $30 a month. 7-day test drive for $1, $30 a month thereafter. If you wait to take a test drive in November, your monthly subscription is going to be $49.95 a month, okay? So go on and do that now. So here's your call to action, and then we'll get into some Q&A. Your call to action is to follow up with the person that got you to tonight's webinar and ask them for their CRB Digi Millionaire link. Come inside and take our 7-day test drive. That is for $1, okay? Make sure you watch the videos. All right, give me a moment. Let me just pull this up real quickly. Bear with me, please. One minute, please. Okay, so when the person that got you to tonight's webinar, I pulled the wrong one. Bear with me. There we go. When they send you the link to join CRB, this is what you're going to see. This is about an 8-minute video. Watch that, please. And you definitely want to make sure you watch this video here. If you don't watch this video, you're going to miss a very key step, and your portal will not be set up automatically. Then you have to come back to support. You'll be frustrated. Support will be frustrated, okay? So make sure you watch this video. Also, at this page, register with our flagship Auto Digi Profit System, BitConnect. When you click here to join, you should be taken directly to their referral page. They are the ones that will be your referrer. Do not go to YouTube and join somebody else. And if you want to go to YouTube and do some more study, that's cool. But join with the person that got you to the dance. Why? Because in our system, you're going to want others to do the same. You're going to want them to join you and not some great marketer like yours truly on YouTube. That's why I don't mention my name in any of our video sequences. I never mention my name. I never mention my contact information. The only people that know my contact information are my direct leads. If a person is not my direct lead, they do not know that information. So that way, my Joe and my Susie average can leverage everything that we're doing for them. And then there's a second Auto Digi Profit System that we didn't even talk about. Go on and join that. All of those you can join for free. Then you come inside, find out how to fund them, so on and so forth. Okay? All right. So that being said, I'm over my time. Thank you for giving me that little extra time. Let's get into, I'm going to do 15 minutes of Q&A. So if you've already put questions in, I need you to re-enter those, because it'll be hard for me if there were other comments that were going on especially since I don't have Queen here to assist me. So let's go and see what questions we have and try to address as many as we can in the next 15 minutes or so. Okay, someone said they got here a little bit late. They were um, celebrating someone's birthday. So happy birthday to the person, your CRB member. Trading labs are on Thursday night. So no, we don't have a trading lab tonight. We'll have a trading lab on Thursday night. And if you go into your CRB back office, give me a moment. Go into your CRB back office, click on, oops. And you're going to see the trading lab on your Thursday calendar. There's two links. There's two links to our webinars on Thursday nights. We do two webinars. We do an 8 p.m. US East Coast time Digi Basics webinar, Digi Basics / Marketing Basics. And then we do our actually trading lab at 9:30 p.m. We do switch out that trading lab link every month to keep everyone honest. All right, so the only people who are going to have access to those are going to be those that have an active subscription, okay? Someone is asking, do I think it's too late to join Regal Coin, which is one of the platforms that has recently launched modeling after BitConnect? The answer to that is a resounding no. No, it's not too late. I will tell you that they've been going through some maintenance issues. So I'd have you to join for free. You may not be able to fund things right now until they complete some of their maintenance. And make sure, those of you that are already in CRB, we are going to be adding Regal to our affiliate center probably early next week. So make sure you've got your affiliate link. Those of you that are part of any other systems, make sure that you've set up your showcase so that anyone that you've referred to our system, they can see everything that you're promoting. You're going to be promoting some things that we don't promote from an admin level. You're going to be promoting some things that have nothing to do with Digi. And we want to help you get sales, get recruits in those other things. So one of the big things you have in our system is you have your ability to showcase any and all of your wares. Okay. So no, Regal Coin, it is certainly not too late. Now the ICO is over, so you're not going to get the coin at 97 cents like I was fortunate to be able to do. But we shared some other options. So when you come back, and if you're new, when you come back and you get into the system, come under Digi Trading Lab, and you can start going through the recorded labs that we've had, and you can see what we've talked about in terms of adding to our coin portfolio, okay? Someone said Bitcoin is down to 54.20. Great. You know what excites me about Bitcoin today? Well, why would you be excited that Bitcoin is going down? Well, because I'd rather you, if you've not gotten into Bitcoin yet, I'd rather you get in at 54.60 than 6,100. I know it's going to go back to 6,100 and ultimately blow through it. But this is what I like, Jim. We are going to have a decent interest rate coming up soon. Why? Because the market has moved, the Bitcoin market has moved a decent amount today, 4.88%. As a matter of fact, we can go to the real interest time chart, and they may have already shown. Hold on. Let me refresh this. Yeah, see, so they're set up on, I don't know what part of Asia they're out of, but you know, they're several hours ahead of me. So when we first started tonight's webinar, it wasn't showing what was going to be tomorrow's interest rate, okay? Now it's showing, but because there was a decent move in Bitcoin prices up or down, we're going to get a really good payout. Really good payout, 1.73%. Okay. Ah, LK. All right. All right. What we did in one of our labs here recently is there is another lending platform that was still in their ICO stage. Now, with Regal Coin, for instance, it was very frustrating. It took a long time to finally be able to get into the ICO. And because it was so frustrating, I never said anything to our audience about it. And then, so I got it at 97 cents when it hit an exchange, and I did it as a coin play. I didn't do it to lend to the system. I did it because I missed BitConnect at 16 cents. That's now at 190 some dollars. By the way, I like this price. All right, I like this price, and if it's still there after the webinar, I'm likely going to buy some BitConnect coin at this 190 price because I expect her, at least since I've been following her since late May, early June of this year, when she hits a high, she comes off that high, she might meander for a while, but then she ultimately takes out that high. And the high for BitConnect has been about 218. I think it was 218 the other day. So I'm going to ultimately, likely, especially if I can get it a little bit under 190, buy some at 190. I may ride it up to about 215, earn about $25 a coin or about 13%, and we could probably see that happen in a day or two. It may not. And then my worst case is I'm doing a little training here, a little mini trading lab. Queen would get on me. She said, "Don't you give that away for free." Okay. Worst case, if I bought it for 190 and it went down, I can always lend it to the system. That's one of the reasons I love these coin plays related to lending platforms. If I do it as a coin play and it goes down, but I've got enough of the coin where I can lend to the system, I can always lend to the system, make that money back in the daily interest, and then ultimately be profitable. Okay. Someone says, do we think we could see Bitcoin go down to 5,000 or under 5,000 to buy some at a discount? Jennifer, that's hard to say. We very well could. One thing you've got to be mindful of is that they are expecting, this may be a little bit over the heads of my newbies, they're expecting in November to have another hard fork. There's been something called Bitcoin Gold, which just came out from the Bitcoin platform, but they're going to have another big fork. What we saw the last time there was a major fork is the weeks leading up to that, Bitcoin went to the moon, because for every Bitcoin a person had or fraction thereof, when the fork happened, then you got this a 1-to-1 ratio of whatever the new coin happens to be. And so what we saw is we saw people that understood that. We didn't understand that at the time. People that understood that, they came in and they were buying Bitcoin like you wouldn't believe, trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as they could, so that when the new coin came out from the Bitcoin platform, they called it Bitcoin Cash, that they got 1-to-1 ratio. We've seen Bitcoin Cash go as high as $1,000. That was free money. So, Jennifer, here's the thing. Even at current pricing, I would buy Bitcoin. Even at current pricing, because the big money hasn't even gotten here yet. The big money, we're talking about institutional money. We're talking about there's 70 hedge funds that are positioning themselves to come into this space. And when they start shifting just a small percentage of their assets into this space, talk about an explosion. Plus, there is a system that has applied for, and my understanding, they have gotten the U.S.-based investment-based approvals through the CFTC, Commodities Futures Trading Commission, to where they are going to be able to these large institutions are going to be able to have their foray into the Bitcoin space through a legitimized, regulated platform. When that happens and you just have a small percentage of institutional money coming into this space, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dash, some of these other assets as well, price explosion. So I wouldn't be too picky right now. Is it 5,000 or is it 5,400? Get you some Bitcoin, okay? What is the best way to get the larger amounts of Bitcoin? Um, it's tough if you're just getting started to move large amounts from your checking account into, and I don't know what you mean by large amounts, but through stuff like Coinbase or what have you. What's easier is to use peer-to-peer systems like local Bitcoins. Um, you will pay a slight premium. So for instance, if you're buying Bitcoin, you may pay a 3%, 4% premium. That's just the cost of doing business, unfortunately. If you're selling that way, you may be selling at 3 to 4% lower than what the actual going price is. What happens is you've got people that's their business, is they do larger transactions. The thing about local Bitcoins, however, is that you could have your Bitcoins within just a few minutes, an hour, 2 hours, sometimes even less than that. Okay. So if you're going to do larger transactions, just consider that, the cost of doing business. You'll likely make that up if you're holding on to Bitcoin for any length of time. You'll likely make that up in short order with the appreciation. Okay. One of our traders, Trader Paul, who's a technical guy, he likes looking at charts and understands all that stuff. We don't look at charts so much on our trading labs because that would be too complicated for most folks. Paul saying, hey, we might see Bitcoin go down to about 49.60 as support, 49.60 to the 5,090 range, but likely we could see it hit to the $6,400 range in the next week. And again, Paul is more of a technical analyst than I am, so I'm not sure the 6,400. But I know this guy, Paul, I'm talking about. This guy does so well in, your traditional trading with charts, in commodities. I know in commodities and futures, he's done very well. So I listen to this guy when it comes to that kind of stuff. Someone's asking about Bitcoin gold. I don't know if you're going to see that showing up right away. So pay attention to sites like CoinDesk and wherever you may have some Bitcoin. If you've got it sitting in Exodus, you've got it sitting in Poloniex, pay attention to any of their messaging as to how they're handling Bitcoin gold. It may be a few days before you see it, okay? William Walker, buddy, we keep getting these emails from you with nothing on them. So I've seen a bunch of your emails, but there's no content. How about you try to send an email from something other than a phone? I think you've been using a phone, and for whatever reason, we're not getting. Man, I've got so many emails from you, and I have no idea what you want or what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Al from Stone Mountain, Georgia, is talking about another ICO. And yeah, I saw that one today. Al, it's a lot like I said, we've counted now a dozen platforms that have popped up in the last 6 to 8 weeks, looking to model in some form or fashion BitConnect. And the one thing I would just say, you've got to be careful. Never invest in any money you can't afford to lose. You got to be careful because, BitConnect has proven itself. BitConnect even went through a little hiccup and Boy, that that was important to see. How are you going to handle a hiccup? They handled it, I'm going to say, flawlessly. They communicated with us. We knew what was going on, and things happened just as they said they were going to happen. Um, and so, with it being a $1.4 billion market cap, it's going to be my flagship. Now, will we have some other platforms that we will also leverage? Definitely, yes. One thing we've got to be careful of is there's going to be some bad guys and bad guyettes that are going to come up with platforms and they have no intention of performing. They're going to do an ICO, they're going to grab a bunch of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then they're going to be off to the races. Is that going to happen? Yeah, just as sure as my name is, and I haven't said what my name is, that's going to happen. Okay, so we got to be careful and only make sure that you are doing anything in this space or any other investment space with funds that you can afford to lose. Okay. Al, I can tell you that, and I don't, Al, I know you typically have some resources to work with, but I can tell you from a pure lending perspective, I saw that one. I didn't see anything that overly excited me about their lending program. It wasn't anything different than what we've seen. The one that we mentioned last week in our trading lab that starts with an F, I love that lending platform. I can't wait for that lending platform to be live. I think that may be my #2 lending platform if they perform. The one that we talked about last week, okay? Thank you, Cynthia. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna take 2 more. If I don't get yours, I'm sorry. Yeah, someone was saying the Bitcoin fork with big. There's another fork that's coming up in November, by the way. That's supposed to be bigger than the Bitcoin Gold, but it just happened with the Bitcoin Gold. I know it's trading. Bitcoin Gold was actually trading on some exchanges, but it may still be some time before you actually see Bitcoin Gold in your account. Let's see. What, I don't even know what this symbol is. Bitcoin. BTG. If you had Bitcoin, you're supposed to get a 1-to-1 ratio of Bitcoin Gold. And yes, she's down right now, but this is $132.75 per coin of free money. And we alerted our audience to that in our training last week, on Thursday night training last week. So right now it's trading on, if you're in the US, Bitfinex no longer takes US folks. Hit BTC, decent volume there. Binance, decent volume there. Binance has their own coin, by the way, worth taking a look at. If you can get Binance to coin under $1, worth taking a look at. Yobit. So they haven't hit the bigger exchanges like Bittrex and Poloniex just yet. All right, one more. If I don't get to you, okay. Let me see. To those of you who are saying I've got some Bitcoin in various exchanges or even in Exodus, that may be a while, okay? Someone is telling me that my time is up. Oh, they're being queen for me. William wants me to sing. Okay. All right. Somebody was asking me about marketing. Where are we? So let me just real quickly just share with you where we are on that. Okay. So we've got the 30-day video sequence, 20 of the pages already loaded up. So if you come back in under my web pages, go in under autoresponders sales pages, 20 of the 30 are already loaded up. We'll see at least another 5 probably loaded up this week. The last ones will probably be loaded up next week. Okay. These are pages for those of you that have our system you can already begin using. All you've got to do, for instance, this first page here is our actual presentation. What we did tonight, essentially broken down into two modules. Once this timer ends, a call to action button pops up. People go to your getting started page. That's the page where they can join you in CRB for the $1. And of course, we do pay a 33% commission on that monthly subscription of $30 a month. They can join you in BitConnect, and they can join you in our companion system here. So you'll be generating multiple streams of income. All right, so those pages are ready to go now. So for instance, if I wanted to do this, if I wanted to go to Facebook and I wanted to, let's say I pulled up this page here. Well, good. And here's my headline. If I made a post on Facebook, for instance, and I said, hey, if you want to discover how just $100 per asset could have grown to $29,354 in just 1 year, inbox me, as an example, okay? I'll have some people who'll inbox me, and you could just send them this page right here. At the end of the countdown timer, there's going to be the call to action button that will take people to your getting started page with your links and all that other good stuff, okay? Make sure, if you're new, before you do all this stuff, make sure that you have followed the instructions on the home page, which says watch this video first. All right, so that you make sure you have everything set up. Also, we are starting to load up the autoresponders. All right, what we're doing is we're overriding the old autoresponder from the old promotion, so that those of you that already have leads, once we have loaded up all the email autoresponder messages inside of the system, we're going to have our programmer reset everything. And so those people that are already in your list internally in the system will start to get the new messages. And I think we've loaded up the first 12. All right, we're up through message number 12. All right, so here is what an email would look like, for instance, that would be going out to your folks once we've done the marketing. You know, I don't want you using the lead capture pages just yet because we haven't completed this series. But for those of you that want to go on and start loading up your own third-party autoresponder, we've got 12 messages already ready to go. Your links are already programmed in here, okay, for those first 12 messages. All right, here's the one that goes out instantly. Here's the one that goes out the day after they have opted in. Everything's already, you can copy and paste it. Hey, if you've got a list of some sort and you want to go on and you want to copy and paste, you know, make any changes you want to the verbiage, feel free to do so. And you can send this to your list right now for those of you that already have a list. All right, so we got the first 12 days loaded. Before the end of this week, we should have at least the first 20. And then by sometime next week, we should have all 30 in place. I want to get the 20 there because then I can shift. Once I've got 20 loaded, I can then shift and start working with our search traffic person to start doing some small tests. I'll have enough content in here for about 3 weeks worth of messages, and then we can start doing testing. Then I can come back and fill out the last 10 messages there, okay? So we're already starting to do that. So in a perfect world, someone was asking about the marketing. In a perfect world, we may start doing some small marketing tests end of next week, likely the beginning of the week after that. Okay. And then after a few days of him starting to optimize the campaign, then we'll be ready to turn on the traffic in earnest. So it's taken a long time because we've had to do a lot to get to this point, developing a whole system that anybody could use, that's got your links in there, that's got autoresponder messages, it's got the videos, it's got the sales pages, and having a live system where we still have to, where we still have support issues that we've got to pay attention to, and that kind of stuff. So it's taken longer than what we would have liked, but I promise you, this is going to be a system. If we didn't have a trading lab, this would be a system that easily would be worth over $100 a month once we get everything in place. Okay, easily, and you'll be getting it for your $30 a month. All right. So looking at the time, I think I'm gonna try to get me another hour or two worth of work in. Love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. I can tell you today, if you had some support tickets or emails that were not addressed today, they should be addressed tomorrow by the afternoon, later afternoon, or what have you. But that being said, we love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours. Let's get to the my gosh, millionaire status. Good night, everyone.